SpaceWatchers. This is Space Café Radio, your channel about trends, great people, and awesome conferences. I'm Chiara Monter, event coordinator in our SpaceWatch.Global team. This is another episode of our ISU Space Studies program series, live from Oeiras, Portugal. The SSP is a unique and intense 2-month professional development course for postgraduate students and professionals of all disciplines. On the final day of the SSP22, I had the chance to talk to some of the participants about their team projects on the day of the final presentations. In this episode, I talked to Schedir Illoldi from the team project Space for Non-Space. Enjoy our conversation. Hi, thank you so much for agreeing to meet with me. You finished your presentation this morning, you're free, the stress can relax. Could you briefly introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Schedir Illoldi from the United States. My team project was originally called Space for Non-Space. It was meant to bridge the gaps between the space-based data that it's available out there with what you would normally call non-space sectors. And so we had 4 different tasks. The first one was to create an inventory of what's available from which platform, and that was part of what was presented during our formal presentation today. And then the next task was to look at the non-space sectors and look at which one would benefit the most from that space data. And based on that research, to find 2 potential business cases to bridge that gap. During the course of the 9 weeks, our team went from Space for Non-Space to Down to Earth, bridging the gap. We saw it as with connecting the dots, connecting the puzzle, completing the puzzle between space and non-space sectors.
Okay, very interesting because yes, there's important factors where space can help, also typical non-space sectors. Can you give a bit more insight into these 2 business models?
Sure. The first one is based on the lack of accessibility of data. It's called Space Race. It's meant to make satellite data more accessible because it is what we found during our research is that it is all over the place, different platforms, different file formats and whatnot. So Space Race is meant to do that. It's set up as original as a nonprofit organization, but it could be also a for-profit. I'm really excited that the team that worked on that business plan, also me included, will continue forward with that. And hopefully, now that we are all back at home, we will not lose steam and continue the momentum to make that happen. At least our lead, the person that came up with the project, Shenha Vlasarovic, is very motivated. She was very excited, and you probably saw that on stage when she was not only explaining the project, but the potential during the Q&A questions.
Yes, it was really nice to see. And it's wonderful to also see that from these team projects, ideas for the future can evolve as well. So that was one of the business models. What was the other one?
The other one is called Together. One of the gaps that we saw was not only merging satellite data into usable, intelligent, actionable information for decision makers, but satellite imagery can give you a certain resolution. And when you can get a better picture, you can get a more complete picture, that's even proper grammar, if you add on different assets. So if you can, for example, get satellite imagery to narrow down an area of research, then you can go in and take snapshots with a drone. Then you can have more granularity, more latency probably also on the information that it's available.
Yeah, very interesting. And I think it's highly applicable right now. We see that there's so many applications for space in the non-space sector and that awareness is growing, I think, as well. But what was your motivation to do this team project and what has been your experience?
I'm very familiar with the launch industry, but in many ways, satellites are just payloads. And so once the satellite is on orbit, you kind of disassociate from what's the bigger picture. Space for Non-Space was a way to learn a little bit more about satellites, what you can do about it. Pretty much being the clientele, at least from the education aspect of it, of this project. It's meant to bridge that gap of what can you do with data, what is out there, and all of its potential uses.
Okay, so it's really been also for you a glimpse into a different part of the sector as well. And what has been your experience? Do you come away with like new lessons learned, a new project to work on as well?
Yeah, it's a little bit of all. I'm one of, when you're talking about age groups in this program, I'm on the older side. So obviously I come in with a different perspective, already having been in the aerospace industry or the space industry for a while. It's interesting to see what other people are doing. I think also because I'm older, I was able to lend a little bit of expertise, not just in the topics at hand, but just in life. So I think I'll need a little bit more time to process it all, as it's a very intensive program. So we delay a little bit of what just happened there until you actually have time. It's been fulfilling from the sense of the core lectures, our department lectures, our elective workshops. I learn new things. I might venture into other new things. For example, for my humanities department project, I started a podcast. So maybe it's one of those things that I'll continue in the future. We'll see. So yeah, I lost my train of thought, which happens often in this program.
Yeah, fair enough. And what you say is correct. You've been so busy for 9 weeks now. It all needs to settle in. I still have some questions about it anyway, so we'll see what's coming off the top of your head. Because I'm interested with this team project. It's very intense work. You're working together with 23 people on a project. You have limited time to have a lot of ideas. Were there any setbacks or challenges that you encountered during the TP work?
Sure. I think one of the challenges is that when you come into a new organization, you already have a set of roles. Either you come into a new job, what your position is, why you're being hired, who's your boss, what are the deadlines. And in many cases, this is more related to volunteer organizations where people put as much as they can, want, and that is a challenge time-wise. At least in our project, we didn't give any preference on background or skills necessarily to the tasks because we all wanted to explore something different. So I was doing a lot of research on satellites because I wanted to do, that's what I wanted to do. And then when other people, kind of had other talents, they brought it in when it was critical. But perhaps that's what also make this experience more fulfilling, is the fact that you're able to experiment with different tasks, different areas of expertise, different areas of knowledge, and so on. And you're right, when you have 23 participants, it's not just the number of people, the age range, but the cultural differences. That's something that I don't think we were fully prepared for and didn't have much time to address and how to get the best out of each teammate, because we all came in from different countries and different academic backgrounds, job background, and the functions that we've been performing. One of the things that I noticed was that because our team seemed to be on the older range, it seemed like we had a lot of people that had performed leadership roles. And so everybody has a different way of viewing tasks that need to be divided, managing time, and so on. I think you eventually try to gather as many people as possible and try to push in the same direction. There will be some people that will be all in, and there are people that might not, but I don't think that is any different from any other type of team project. And I want to put it that way because it's not necessarily like negative feedback to my team. It's just that's the way that, or ISU is just the way that teamwork works, especially when you're there as a volunteer or because you want to. It's very different when you are at work and you're getting paid for it and there are other consequences for non-performance.
But like you say, there's also so many different backgrounds. It's not very clear task definition. It's not like a job, and teamwork under time constraints with 23 different people. It is going to be a bit complicated.
Right. And we are, not only when we are doing this team project, the full-on just team project phase is towards the end of the program. At the beginning, we are all assigned to different workshops, departments. So we really don't get to interact as much as a team until the end. Might be a good thing, might be a bad thing. I don't know. What else to say about the challenges? Time. We have a very short amount of time to make a product that is very academically in-depth, if you want to call it. The projects that we were given are very interesting and challenging, and based on the amount of information that we found, that we had to cut out how much deeper we could have gone. Probably 4 or 5 theses, doctorate theses could be in there. So it's pretty much we touched the surface on these topics, and hopefully our chairs and our sponsors are happy with our product.
I think so. I think they seemed very pleased today. And there's a certain level to which you can go given the time, and that can give an impulse for the next project as well. So after these challenges and after intense 9 weeks, is there something within the team project especially where you're like, that was a highlight, or that was really a really nice opportunity?
I think really the presentation was finally everybody on the same page, supporting each other and making it happen.
As a final question, looking out towards the future, you've already said that one of your business models, it's actually going to be a business model. You're going to be, or hopefully continuing to work on it. So what does the rest of your team project hold? Is there any other future plans or any other future ideas?
Yes, there's definitely, I think the core of what the SSP program and ISU, I would say more of the SSP program because it's not a full academic program like the master's. It's to put people together. And so I think within our group, and not necessarily just our team project, but overall our class of 22, I'm hopeful that there will be more collaborations. I've certainly found people that I would love to work with on a professional basis or just in something completely new. So we'll see what the future holds. But I don't think it's the only project. There's a couple that I was asked if I was willing to continue collaborating, and I said yes. So we'll see which ones of those materialize. I hope all of them, honestly, because I would love to continue to not only collaborate, but connect on a personal level with those people.
Fantastic. That sounds really great. Then I'm curious to see what the future holds. Thank you so much for making the time after all of this stressful time that you've been through to just sit down and chat with me. It's been great.
Thank you. Hopefully you got something intelligible from me after all the long days. Thank you.
If you want to stay on the pulse of space, visit our website, our mothership, at www.SpaceWatch.Global and subscribe to our newsletter. Don't forget to check out our full program of Space Café radios, where we offer interviews, insights, and editorial comments on the space sector. Thank you all very much for listening, and with that, I leave you for today. And don't forget, become a Space Watcher. Bye!